This is Rockstar 2800 with smutfree TV, the hottest content in these internet streets. Make sure you tune in, like, comment, subscribe, get your mind right.
So you on a run, you say you do tours, you did press release,
Right.
you end up going to jail again.
Yeah.
How does this happen?
Bro, I ain't even gonna lie. So one thing I never wanted to do was like I wanted to be completely authentic with my shit. So I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. At this point in time, I'm coming off of a tour, and then I got a one-off in Denver. So I just finished the tour. I fly back into LA, and then like 2 days later, I got a show out in Denver again. Like this is just a one-off. So I go do the shit in Denver, but the last tour that I was on, it was with a cat named Lil Wyte, right? So Lil Wyte was part of like 3-6 Mafia and shit, and he got like a real independent cult following.
Yeah, he's still doing it. Lil Wyte was fucking with Jeezy too.
Yeah, so me and Lil Wyte, we literally got matching fucking, no homo, we got matching fucking tour tattoos, like, you know what I'm saying? So it was called Bottom of the Bottle. This was 2016. So we go on this tour. Now, I kind of get turned out a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cause everybody, at this point in time, this was when that whole Papa Perky was like really jumping. It's like, Papa Perk, Papa Perk. So here my dumb ass goes trying to fit in. I'm hanging with all these celebrities and everybody doing all this shit. So here I go. I'm starting to pop perks. You know, little did I know that shit was finna introduce me to a long ass road of like addiction, bro. So what happens is I come back from Denver. I'm telling you, I'm on a plane with a pocket full of Percocets and a pocket full of money. I get back to LA. I'm like, my daughter at the time, she finna start grade school. And I'm telling my baby mama, like, I don't want to live in, like, I love, South Central was cool. I never had no issues out there. Probably because I'm white. I'm not a threat. But like I loved it out there, but I didn't want my daughter. My daughter's mixed. And that don't have nothing to do with anything. But I'm just saying I didn't want her in the school system in that area. I wanted to try to provide a better life, right? So I told my baby mom we need to look for a house to buy. So at this point in time, even still, bro, LA's expensive, and I was getting money, but not that like living good in LA money. So I'm like, all right, well, what can we do? So we look in the surrounding areas and we find out like Phoenix, this was 2015. We find out Phoenix, I'm like, it's 4 hours away, fifth most populated city, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, shit, we're going to go out here. So I buy a house out in Phoenix. So we literally pack up, never been to Phoenix before, we come out to Phoenix. Boy, if you don't know nothing about this motherfucker out here, they got more drugs than a little bit out here. So now I'm coming out here with a perk habit, but I just don't know I got a perk habit yet. So I get out here and I'm still with the motion and shit like that. And I'm starting to integrate into the scene a little bit out here. Man, I get so fucked up on these perkies. These the real perks. This was before fentanyl was a thing. I'm popping like 10 perk 30s a day. I'm leaning, bro. So this is when shit start going downhill. I end up losing my house. I end up like literally, bro, I was going on a 22 city tour. I think I had 2 dates left. I had a date in West Virginia and a date in Missouri. I literally left my motherfucking tour. This was an independent. This was like one of the first times, because I was doing co-tours with bigger artists. So this was one of the first times I decided I'm going to go out on my own. So I book a 22 city tour. The last 2 dates, I leave early because I'm basically withdrawing from fucking perks. I got a dude on tour that I bring with me from out here. He getting perks sent in the mail stuffed in a teddy bear. So we open, like we get into the hotel room. We got packages coming through. We popping the perks open and we getting faded. But towards the end, we ran out and we can't get a hold of no more. So I'm like, fuck that. I cancel the last 2 shows. I come home. Not long after that, this same dude that I'm talking about, once I start losing everything, I go down a bad hole. I start neglecting music. I stop really making any income. Like my best year, I did 6 figures off of touring and merchandise. But once I get into this habit, I'm so locked in my addiction that I ain't paying attention to nothing else. I don't really give a fuck. Man, I'm losing my family. I'm losing everything, bro. So, once I lost that house, it was all bad from there. I ended up getting so bad, like somebody had scammed me. I was buying like a trailer on a piece of land, and they told me everything was good with it. Well, it ended up being a bando, and I spent all my money on it. So it was just all bad, bro. We ended up shooting back out to Michigan, and then, but before I left, we was like, at this point in time, it was like a gift card thing. It was like some scams going on. So where like motherfuckers was just hitting them motherfucking store like Home Depot, Lowe's for like heavy amounts though. Like motherfuckers is running up 10 grand on these gift cards, and then
Yeah.
they selling them for 80% cash. You got people that's buying them. So I get caught up in a situation like that because my homeboy is under surveillance and I don't know. So they catch me coming over there to his spot with all this traffic, with all this stolen merchandise and all this shit. And so they end up putting a tail on me. They tail me for a minute. I end up catching the case. Well, they let me out, and then I end up going on the run to Michigan for 8 months, and then I get caught up by the motherfucking feds. Like I get caught in a federal sting out there.
But hold on. But what you catch the case for?
So
Exactly.
out here, I ended up catching the case. Like this is what I went to prison for out here: trafficking and stolen property. That's what it was like, organized retail theft and trafficking and stolen property. They ended up dropping the organized retail theft because it's a lesser charge, and I plead out to
That's an ORC.
Yep. Trafficking and stolen property. They gave me 7, but they aggravated my shit. Cause you gotta think, I had at the time when I went into the courtroom, the judge is reading all my charges. I got 13 felonies on my record at this time. So at this time, the judge is like, man, what the fuck? The presumptive on the case only carried 5 fucking years.
But did you have previous shoplifting charges?
Nope, I ain't have nothing like that. Nothing like that at all, bro. I literally only had, and that everybody in the county jail, because when they extradited me back out here, I sat and fought my case for 13 months in the county jail out here. Everybody like, oh, bro, they ain't gonna do you like that. Just fight it. Just wait it out. Wait it out. Man, them folks got worse on the offers. My first offer was 5 years with 5 years probation. I should have took that. You know what I'm saying? But
Did they sit down with you when the ORC came about? Did they sit down with you and try to get you to have a conversation about the other people involved in the ORC?
So when they sat down with me, they basically they jumped out on me at Walmart, and then they took me in, and they didn't ask me nothing about nobody else as far as like in the case when as far as like any co-defendants. I didn't have any co-defendants. I didn't have anything like that. They seen was me. All right, so here's what got me. They seen me walk out the store with the shit. Like I walked out with a cart full of shit, right?
Right.
Then they seen me go somewhere. And what happened was I picked up my homeboy's baby mama to take her back because she was going to take it back with her ID. So they seen me leave the store and they seen me return. My high ass went back to the same motherfucking Home Depot to return the items. Now, even though I didn't go in, they had me at the place and they had me returning to the place, which is what brought it full.
But in order for them to hit you with the ORC charge, they would have had to have you previously doing it, or they had to have a place where you were getting it.
Well, they said they was telling him. They put it. He said they was telling them.
Well, no, because they caught him at point of sale though, Rock.
So I'm saying like ain't no telling what they seen leading up to that.
No, what I'm saying is point of sale is what he's saying is they caught him at point of sale. The loss prevention stopped him, and they brought him back.
No, not loss prevention. This was a whole. This was a tactical team. This was like the.
I don't listen. I know what I'm saying, but loss prevention was heading that off because they evidently they was already building on it. On whatever it was, they was already building on it. Because what you just explained was receipt fraud. That's not going to be considered ORC. So when they hit you with the ORC, that's a different situation.
So look, in my paperwork, it literally has them tailing me. I only got charged for one particular time. It was like a $400, something like that. But in my paperwork, they literally have me under surveillance. Like they have the hours logged and everything. They were watching me go in, come out, go in, come out with this shit. And then this is how they tied it up. They never caught me going back to return the shit. Well, it really wasn't me returning.
So I'm saying there was multiple times in, so they was building a record on it. So when you finally came and they made the stop on you because they already had you basically timed out knew you was coming, and they was pretty much waiting on you at that point. So when they stopped you at that point and they put you back, and did they bring you back in the store with them?
No. At this point in time, I wasn't stealing right there. I was actually with my baby mama.
No, I'm talking about when you left out with the cart. You said that you left out with the cart. They stopped you. That's what you got locked up for.
No. Yeah, listen.
Or you was returning.
Right.
Finish, bro.
So look, this is I'm gonna explain it. I never was caught in the store doing nothing. This is what happened. I was under. So if I look at my paperwork, there's a guy in there, like you said, loss prevention was probably heading this up. They noticed it. And because I'm hitting like the same 3 Home Depots over and over and over. Because I'm literally just walking out the motherfucking exit in this motherfucker. So, or the garden center or whatever. So what happens is they are surveilling me. Never once do they actually stop me while I'm at the store stealing shit. They don't even stop me when I return this shit. What they do is they built the case up, and then on a whole unrelated event, I'm going to Walmart, they jump out and then they show me in black and white and in surveillance and shit, like, we have you stealing from the store, and then later on at the same store where it's getting returned. So I never got stopped by an employer or no shit like that.
Okay, and you say you ain't got no co-defendants on that?
No, I don't got no co-defendants.
Okay, so you get charged. How much time do you get charged for this?
So initially they tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like they got me with the OR or whatever, organized retail theft or whatever like that. So when they, and I'm gonna be real with you, bro, this is my dumb ass. When they sit down with me, I basically confess. I'm like, yeah, you got me. What am I supposed to say? Like, I did it. Okay, cool.
You told on yourself?
Yeah, I'm. They like, you stole out the store. I'm like, okay, cool. In my mind, I'm thinking like, this is a petty ass misdemeanor charge. I'm not tripping on it. Like, yeah, I did it. It is what it is, right? So they like, okay, boom. When I end up going back to court, now my charge is up from organized retail theft to trafficking and stolen property. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So at that point in time, they let me out on the OR. Like or in an ROR, OR, whatever y'all call it out here, on my own recognizance, right? So I'm like, all right, cool. I show up to my first court date. In my first court date, I literally like my public defender tells me like, oh, you ain't been in trouble, and like, because at this point in time, I had been out of trouble for probably damn near 10 years. So he like, I could probably get you probation for this. It ain't no thing. Okay, cool. They set another court date, whatever. So now at this time, I'm so deep in my addiction, my baby mama finna take the kids and leave and go back to Michigan. I'm like, I'm leaving with or without you. So I'm like, fuck that. So I leave and go to Michigan. So now I'm on the run. So after being out there for 8 months and getting caught up in whatever the fuck I was caught up out there, they extradite me back out here. And then the first offer that I had was 5 years with 5 years probation.
What you end up taking?
I ended up thinking like, so I ended up saying, no, that's too much time, because in my mind, I'm thinking, bro, all I did was steal out the store. You know what I'm saying? In my mind, I'm talking myself, like, I'm rationalizing. Like, I'm like, man, this ain't really shit. Like, I done did some dumb shit in my life, but this is petty. You know what I'm saying? They not finna give me all that time for this. So I'm fighting. So I sit in that bitch for 13 months, bro. Like, they not budging. Matter of fact, they went from the 5 years probation to 7 years. So I'm going all this time. Finally, I'm like, you know what? Fuck that, man. I'm going to take it to trial. I'm going to try to recant my statement, admitting guilt and all this shit. And then they like, well, we want to have a settlement conference. I'm like, all right, bet. And then they ain't talking about nothing. So I'm like, they not trying to budge. I'm like, nah, I'm good. So then we get closer to a trial date. They like, I got a pro bono lawyer at the time. They like, all right, well, they want to have another settlement conference. I'm like, I don't want no settlement conference. She's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. So about a week or two goes by. She's like, they want to have another settlement conference. I think you need to take it. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, cool. They finna come down on this time a little bit. Man, I get in there, man, and it was all of them versus me, bro. Even my own lawyer, they like, we really think you need to take this. You're not going to get any less time, and you're a category 3, so we could give you up to 60 years. I'm like, 60 years for what? Like I killed somebody or some shit. So I was so frustrated. I was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. Give me this shit. Get me the fuck out of here. Send me to prison. Fuck it. Like, if we're going to do this, let's get this time started.
So E-Rich, so
hold on,
so there was nobody else?
You said what?
There was nobody else that was involved with this at all?
There's literally, I have 0 co-defendants.
No, I'm not saying co-defendants. I'm saying anybody else involved in the situation when they brought that situation to you.
There's nobody else involved in my case, no. Now, there was another person, and you know, like my homeboy, you know, he was the one, like, pretty much, like, giving me pills and shit, you know what I'm saying? But, like, he didn't have anything with that case. He ended up getting popped on some other shit. I ended up running to him in prison and shit. But, yeah, I don't have anybody else associated with my case, no.
Okay, let's speak on